All right. Well, speaking of sexual harassment.
Yes.
And whatnot, a gay man was harassed at work for being a cocksucker. Courts say it won't do a thing about it.
Good. Why should they?
Because of the whole sexual orientation stuff.
Okay.
Just this week, House Republicans blocked an attempt by Representative Jared Polis, Democrat, Colorado, to advance the Equality Act, which would create nationwide LGBT non-discrimination protections.
Stop it.
Everybody with their sexual proclivities.
Yeah. And why? You know what? If you like to fuck amputees, okay, and I make fun of that, why is that a problem? Should that be illegal? Should I not be able to make fun of you fucking an amputee?
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
Why?
Because in amputee,
yeah.
Say if you're a straight person,
mm-hmm.
an amputee could be a woman.
Sure.
So that isn't a sexual orientation.
But who's to say what is or isn't something? What can or cannot be made fun of?
Well, it's not a matter of making fun of something. It's a matter of discriminating based on your sexual preference for a certain sex.
But you just said that the story was about somebody calling him a cocksucker.
No, he's a gay man.
Oh, okay. It's called cocksucker?
A gay man was harassed at work for being a cocksucker.
So someone at work called him a cocksucker.
Yes, but more or less making the issue that he's a gay person.
Do you really think that's what it was? Or do they just find it odd? See, here's what is always missing in this discussion, this kind of a discussion. Just talking for yourself and only yourself. Put it in your mind just for a second of you actually going down on a dude. That's a fucking bizarro world thought, right?
Yeah, for me, because that is not of something that I would do.
Yeah, it's a bizarro world thought. So for you to call somebody else out for doing that, it's because it doesn't translate into your head.
Correct.
So what's wrong with that?
Well, because supposedly due to the equality laws,
yeah, okay,
that we're supposed to accept you no matter what your religious beliefs are. Mm-hmm. What your sexual orientation is.
Except how?
Well, that you give the same rights to those people as you would give to anybody.
Are you infringing on anybody's right by calling them a name?
No, but it's not a matter of a name. This guy got fired.
Yeah. The cocksucker did?
Yes.
Oh, he was fired?
Yeah, well, I haven't finished the story yet. I was just getting into the story here.
I was just getting all riled up as I do.
He was harassed, and then he was relieved of his duty.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, Representative Jared, interesting name, Jared.
Right.
Polis, a Democrat from Colorado, to advance the Equality Act, which would create nation-wide LGBT non-discrimination protections. A Missouri appeals court decision.
What's wrong with your microphone tonight?
I don't know. It's kind of fading out on me now and again. But anyway, let's see. A Missouri appeals court decision this week demonstrates exactly why such legislation is necessary.
All right.
In a 2-1 decision Tuesday, the Western District Missouri Court of Appeals ruled against James Pittman, who had sued Cook Paper Recycling Corporation for discriminating against him for being gay.
Okay.
Though the direct harassment and overall hostile environment was well documented in the case, the court could offer Pittman no relief because the Missouri Human Rights Act does not prohibit discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. Nice. So this is a states' rights type situation.
Okay.
The majority wrote, "We affirm the circuit court's judgment dismiss Pittman's petition for failure to state a claim." While working for the Cook paper, Pittman was told that he was a cocksucker and subjected to other comments.
And you're gone again.
Yeah, my my filters here messing up on me. But anyway, he was let's see where we at here. He was asked if he had AIDS.
Okay.
He was harassed for having a same-sex partner and was mocked when the relationship ended. The workplace was, as Pittman described it, an objectively hostile and abusive environment.
Okay.
And Cook Paper ultimately fired him.
Because he wasn't doing his job, though.
Well, it didn't say exactly.
Right.
Pitt argued that because the MHRA does not protect sex, he should find relief because he was discriminated against for violating gender stereotypes by being gay.
Okay.
Judge James Edward Welsh disagreed by citing the dictionary. The plain language of the Missouri Human Rights Act is clear and unambiguous. Employers cannot discriminate against employees on the basis of their sex.
Right.
The clear meaning prohibiting discrimination based upon sex under the Missouri Human Rights Act.
Wow. So you know what? I almost side with the fag on this just because okay, at work you can't dog somebody out for sucking cock. Right? What job have you ever been at that if you called anybody a cocksucker, whether it was because they were gay or just because you didn't like them, that you wouldn't get fired?
Right, exactly.
So on that level, I don't see this necessarily as a gay issue as much as just kind of just general harassment, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but he's saying that his experience at the job was, made, unbearable because people were always, making comments about his sexual proclivities or life choices or however you want to term it.
Yeah, and I guess if that was going on at work, I guess that's okay for him to be pissed, But like if they were at the bar after work and somebody's like, "Hey, what's up, fucking?"
Yeah, that's after work.
Yeah.
But he's saying this was going on the job.
Dude, what is going on? Have you ever worked in a job? We've all worked at jobs where people talk about other people, kind of snicker behind their back or whatever.
Sure.
And we've all done that. I've done that. And I get that. But have you ever worked at a job where anybody would just openly say that to somebody?
Well, I've never worked with anybody that I've known to be a gay person.
Oh, I have.
I haven't.
I have. And nobody would have said, "Hey, faggy," directly to his face. Nobody would have.
Well, I haven't been around that, so I can't answer that on a personal level.
All right. That's strange.
But anyway, as the story continues here, he was suing and using the what do you want to call the statute that says you can't discriminate on the basis of sex.
Okay.
He was trying to sue on the basis of using the term sex as in who he can like and who he doesn't like, rather than being male or female.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Uh-huh. He was using the literal term of sex as in acting or engaging in the act.
Right.
Rather than the gender.
Okay.
So that's what they were using the term sex as so the court had to determine what it means by the word can't discriminate on the basis of sex.
Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. So some wording thing from 70 years ago when this was never even a thought is now coming into play.
Correct.
Nice.
So the court had to say that it was based on gender, not the act.
Right.
That's what they were saying.
Okay.
In a separate opinion, Judge Robert Clayton wrote, "I respectfully and reluctantly concur in the opinion of Judge Welsh with respect to the result only. Judge Anthony Rex Gabbert dissented, pointing out that there were other definitions of sex. Citing the same dictionary, he highlighted definitions 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
The sum of morphological, psychological, and behavioral peculiarities of living beings that subverse biparental reproduction." Wow. The sphere of interpersonal behavior, especially between male and female, most directly associated with leading up to and substituting for or resulting from genital union, and the phenomenon of sexual instincts and their manifestations.
Right.
So here he was saying that he is covered by the statutes of not being discriminated against for sex.
Yeah, but people, is fucking a guy in the ass a genital union?
So what are you're asking is the anus considered a genital?
Yeah, and I'm saying that it's not. So if the anus is not, then the judge is still right.
I would say that if the anus is not considered a sexual organ,
it's not.
Well, I'm just saying that if that is the case, then yes, I would say you're correct.
And neither's the mouth.
That is correct.
So technically, there is no genital union. They're making fun of what he does with his dick.
Right.
You know, what he does with his dick in their mind is no different than if he puts it in a bowl of pudding. I mean, honestly, it's no different.
All right. Though all three could easily encapsulate sexual orientation, this did not persuade the majority, no matter how compelling Pittman's arguments may be, no matter how sympathetic this court or the trial court may be to Pittman's situation. We are bound by the state of the laws as it is currently exists. Without the legislative addition of sexual orientation to the statutory list of protective statuses, the Missouri Human Rights Act does not prohibit discrimination based upon a person's sexual orientation.
Wow.
So it's a states' rights issue. So even though the Supreme Court ruled from the bench this year,
yeah,
the states do not have to enforce it.
So gays cannot really get guaranteed work in Missouri.
Correct.
Nice. I mean, that's terrible.
Missouri is not alone.
Oh, really?
There are 28 states that offer no state-level employment protections based on sexual orientation.
Okay.
The Movement Advancement Projection, that's the MAP, which tracks LGBT legislation, released a new report this week confirming that only half of LGBT people in the U.S. live somewhere that offers them employment protections at the municipal or state level.
Right.
All right. So everybody, see, this is the part that bothers me about our society as it is today.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you know what? I choose to fuck a donkey.
Okay.
So you need to treat me with respect because I fuck a donkey rather than a human or...
Yeah, them pointing and laughing at me.
Exactly.
Right.
You need to accept it.
Yeah. No, I don't. Well, let me ask this. Let's say that you have that your office... Let's say that somebody came and audited your office that you work at now, and there's about 8 people that work there?
Yeah, pretty much.
And they said, well, you don't have any gay people that work here. So because of the LGBT, we're going to suggest that you hire a gay person.
Right.
Okay? Now, so your boss hires a gay person to your job. Okay? Now, because you guys as individuals, you individuals that work there, don't want to deal with a gay person, and you guys all shun this person, just don't speak to this person unless you have a business reason to.
Right.
Would that be considered discrimination?
No, I think that just has to do with social, social, what do you want to call it? Interaction.
Do you think, though, that at some point this person would fucking, like if this person was never invited for beers or whatever after work, would this person have a lawsuit?
I don't think so.
Do you think that's where we're going, though?
No, I would imagine that somebody would try to push that agenda, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it gets all scary, because it's really what I think people always forget in all this stuff is they forget that the more you let the government in, the more they let the government control, to where they're taking more and more of your decisions away from you, slowly but surely. And this is, and again, in this particular incident, I don't think that I cannot even fathom a business where you can walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, what's up, cocksucker? What's up there, ass rapist?" I can't imagine that going on in any workplace I've ever worked.
Sure.
But so in that regard, I think this guy should have won something.
Right.
But not necessarily a sexual harassment case, just a harassment case.
Right.
And maybe that's what he did wrong. Do you think he could have sued just for harassment?
I don't know, but there is more to the story here.
Okay.
MAP Executive Director, can't even pronounce this guy's name, Mushovic.
Yeah, Todd Smith.
Yeah, told Think Progress that it's shocking,
right,
that a worker can be fired solely because he's gay. That the court does not dispute these facts, but the court still finds in favor of the employer due to the lack of non-discrimination protections under the law. So why is that shocking? Well, if the law isn't there and there's nothing to uphold or nothing that is being violated, regardless of, your moral conviction or whatever.
Has the company acknowledged it, that they fired this guy because he was gay?
I don't know. It doesn't say that.
Or is that this guy's accusation?
That's his accusation.
Okay, so then this guy making his statement makes no sense, because that's just an accusation.
Yeah, but even so, he's saying that it's shocking that a worker can be fired even though, for being gay, even though there's no law one way or the other that says it's either okay or not okay.
Well, if there's no law, then you can do it.
Yeah, that's my point. There's no standard to, uphold here.
Yeah, you're outraged because you don't like it.
Pretty much.
That's about the way that works.
Right. She pointed out that even though the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission has determined that sexual orientation is protected under the sex classification in Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, that does little help to, in this case, filed in the state court. The Missouri court made it clear it was not considering Title VII. And because this case only looked at the Missouri Human Rights Act, it is unrelated to the Equal Employment Opportunity rulings.
All right.
Mushovic also highlighted a 2011 study that found that 1 in 10 lesbian, gay, and bisexual workers had reported losing a job in the last 5 years because of their sexual orientation.
Yeah, well, that's their opinion.
Again, I don't think anybody says, you know what, we're firing you because you're gay.
Yeah, and if they haven't stated that, then it's just not a true statement necessarily.
Right. This case is just one illustration of how discrimination is a problem, she explained. Pittman was fired because he is gay, and the court did not deny that. Rather, they said anti-gay discrimination is not illegal under Missouri law.
See, that's a misspeak right there. That's a false statement.
Right.
They didn't have to acknowledge it. All they had to do is say, well, the law says.
Exactly.
They don't have to say, well, you were fired because you were gay. All their interpretation is that his claim doesn't matter for the court. For this guy to bring this claim to the court, they're saying that the law, the way it's written, doesn't give him standing to make this claim.
Correct.
So really, he doesn't have a case at all.
No, I agree.
I get it.
Republican majorities in the Congress and many state legislatures are keeping legislation like the Equality Act from advancing, but efforts to extend LGBT non-discrimination protections are still underway. Just last week, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo issued an executive order to protect transgender people from discrimination after such protections have been blocked by the state Senate for several years.
Right.
State lawmakers in Ohio have introduced an LGBT protections bill this week, hoping that the fifth time is the charm.
The fifth time?
The fifth time.
All right, well, let's hope.
And on Tuesday, voters in Houston, Texas will consider Proposition 1, the Houston Equal Rights Ordinance. As the fourth most populated city in the U.S., Heroes passage could make a significant dent in the number of LGBT people who remain vulnerable to legal discrimination.
Mm-hmm. Would it be discriminating if you chose not to hire a transgender person because you evaluate that choice shows bad choices, bad judgment?
Well, I don't know that you could actually voice that anywhere.
Yeah.
You might, the chances are in that case, the potential employer would say you're not qualified because this, that, or the other, but they certainly wouldn't make their transgender choice the issue.
What about if you just didn't want somebody that looked like that to represent your company?
Well, again, you would make another reason why that person did not qualify for the job.
But can you say, I get that, but I'm asking, can you say my salespeople need to look a certain way?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you would get away with that because you're just opening yourself up for that kind of lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean, because let's face it, if you're sending out a tranny to sell your wares, you're going to be 80% fail just on first look.
Right.
Right? 80% of the people are not going to fucking buy whatever you're selling.
Again, it goes back to this whole attitude that, I'm transgender. You just need to deal with me.
Yeah, but nobody will. Nobody that's writing money is going to think anything but, I'm not buying from that fucking freak.
Well, again, you and I know, but see, the transgender people think, or whomever, is like, well, you're gonna accept me whether you want to or not.
Yeah, no, we're not.
You're gonna deal with me whether you want to or not.
Okay, keep thinking that.
Right.
Keep thinking it.
So that's what it boils down to.
Yeah. What a mess.
It is a mess.
Country's in fucking dire straits.
When you were a younger person,
yes,
did you ever think that we would get to this point?
No.
It never occurred to me, riding the bus in junior high school or, my sophomore year when everybody was kind of kidding each other and, knocking each other around. Because, you get like a full bus and you'd have to sit 2 and 3 in a seat.
Right, sure.
And guys, once they got to high school age, they would more or less just, get away from me, fag. I'm not gay. Why are you sitting next to me,
Exactly, of
that
course.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, well, you're gay. Whatever. Or, ooh, don't sit next to me. You're gay,
Yeah.
Just because it was just kidding around.
Right, sure.
Yeah, but did you ever think that this was going to be the rule of the land now?
Well, they're trying to. They're trying to legislate opinion, and it's never going to work.
Right.
You know, just like they've never been able to legislate out racism, no matter how hard they try.
Well,
It's impossible.
Well, you're going to deal with me.
Yeah, okay. Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming that that's going to really happen. It's not.
Right.
Never going to be that way.
Well, you're going to deal with me whether you like it or not, pal.
Okay. Keep on thinking that.
All right. Just thought I'd bring a couple of those stories to the table.
Sure. Yes, we do.
Michael Sweet is promoting the new Striper.
It is called Fallen, and it is really good.
Okay. And then tonight, here in about another hour, you're supposed, if you're on the East Coast, you need to turn your clock back an hour.
Yep, that's right.
I hate this time of year. I hate when they turn the clocks back.
Because it's dark until noon or whatever.
It is. It's terrible.
Yeah, it gets dark at 5 o'clock at night.
It does. It sucks.
Yep, it does blow.
All right. So anyway, Striper's got a new record out.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk to Michael Sweet about it and find out what's going on in his world.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, here's some Striper. This is called The King of Kings. So Michael Sweet coming up here.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Here's Striper exclusively here
on your classic metal show.